History books love to call him the richest man who ever lived. But that's the least interesting thing about him. Because centuries before Europe's Renaissance, deep in West Africa, an empire engineered desert cities, mastered gold economics, and shook the world so hard that a single journey changed global maps forever. This is the Mali Empire under Mansa Musa, beyond the cliché. To understand the magnitude of Mansa Musa's world, we journey back to the 14th century, to a region stretching across what is now Mali, Senegal, Mauritania, Guinea, and Niger. This was the Sahel, a narrow ribbon between the Sahara Desert and the fertile West African coast. Hot days, cold nights, endless dunes. But hidden beneath those sands was gold, more gold than anywhere else on earth at that time. And out of this landscape rose the Mali Empire, founded by Sundiata Keita, a legendary warrior king. By the time Musa inherited the throne around 1312 CE, Mali was already respected. But under him, it exploded into one of the most powerful empires the medieval world ever saw. Mansa Musa wasn't just born into power, he strategized it. His rise was built on 3 pillars. Number 1. Gold and salt control. Mali sat on the world's largest gold deposits. But Musa didn't just own mines. He controlled the routes, the caravans, and even the prices. Salt from the Sahara plus gold from Mali equals the engine of medieval African wealth. Number 2. A standing army. Tens of thousands of cavalry and infantry. Not raiders, organized, disciplined soldiers who protected trade, guarded cities, and expanded the empire's reach. Number 3. Centralized administration. Musa brought structure. Governors for provinces. Judges trained in Islamic law. Tax systems that kept the empire running smoothly. While Europe battled plagues and feudal chaos, Mansa Musa built a government that looks surprisingly modern. The Golden Age. Culture, learning, technology. This is the part history rarely tells correctly. The Mali Empire wasn't merely wealthy, it was brilliant. Under Musa, it entered a golden age that reshaped West African identity. Timbuktu, the desert university city. Musa transformed Timbuktu from a trading post into a center of learning. He built the University of Sankoré, which attracted scholars from Egypt, Persia, Morocco, and Andalusia. At its peak, it held hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, astronomy, medicine, poetry, law, mathematics. Imagine a city in the desert, producing more books than most European countries. Architecture that broke the rulebook. Musa brought back architects from his legendary pilgrimage, including the famous Al-Sahili. Together they designed the Jingareba Mosque, new palaces, sandstone cities that still stand today. Some buildings rose like desert skyscrapers, uniquely West African. Trade networks across continents. Caravans stretched from Mali to Cairo, Tunis, Morocco, and even across the Atlantic coast. Mali became a nerve center connecting West Africa to the Islamic world. One journey changed everything, Musa's Hajj of 1324. But here's the mystery. Was it a spiritual pilgrimage? Or a geopolitical flex? The gold drop that broke an economy. Historical accounts say Musa carried 60,000 men, 12,000 servants, 500 heralds, and camels carrying so much gold that Cairo's economy collapsed for a decade after he passed. That's not myth, it's recorded by Arab historians who witnessed it. But why bring so much? Some scholars believe Musa wanted to announce Mali to the world. Others think he was proving legitimacy as a Muslim ruler. And some whisper he was searching for knowledge, alliances, and maybe even new trade partners. Whatever the motive, the result was clear. Mali appeared on every major world map after that journey. Every empire peaks, and every empire falls, usually from inside. After Musa's death, the empire faced Number 1. Succession conflicts. His sons and grandsons fought for power, weakening unity. Number 2. Shifting trade routes. New coastal routes opened. Old Saharan caravans became less important. Number 3. Invasions. The Mossi, the Tuareg, and later Songhai forces chipped away at Mali's edges. Number 4. The Atlantic world arrives. Europeans began exploring West Africa's coast. Trade moved from desert caravans to ocean ships. Mali's economic engine slowed, then stalled. But Mali didn't vanish in a single blow. It faded like footprints in Sahara, slowly swallowed by the sands of time. Why Mansa Musa still matters today. Today, Mali faces challenges, conflict, poverty, instability. But its history remains a beacon. Because the Mali Empire under Mansa Musa proved something powerful. That Africa wasn't waiting for Europe to define civilization. It had its own kingdoms, its own scholars, its own architects, its own economic systems, and its own giants. Mansa Musa's legacy lives in the manuscripts preserved in Timbuktu, the architectural style of Sahelian mosques, the oral histories of the Mande people, and the global map that finally recognized West Africa's greatness. He wasn't just the richest man. He was a king who reshaped culture, economy, architecture, and knowledge across continents. And his empire remains one of the most extraordinary chapters in world history. But to really understand Mali's golden age, we need to look deeper. Not at its gold, but at its ideas. Sankoré, a city of books in a sea of sand. Imagine riding through 900 kilometers of desert, only to arrive in a city where the first thing you see is a line of students reciting astronomy charts. Timbuktu wasn't a mythical city. It was a scholarly machine. Professors, called ulama, lectured on algebra, medicine, Islamic jurisprudence, botany, geometry, spiritual philosophy. Some classes lasted all day. Some manuscripts were so valuable that they were treated like treasure, copied by hand, traded, inherited, protected for centuries. The book market that outsold gold. One traveler wrote, "In Timbuktu, more profit is gained from the sale of books than from any other trade." Let that sink in. A West African empire, in the 1300s, valued knowledge more than gold. Urban life in the empire. In cities like Gao, Niani, and Timbuktu, life was vibrant. Women participated in trade. Craftsmen formed guilds. Griots, traditional storytellers, preserved genealogy and politics in poetic form. The empire wasn't just powerful. It had culture, rhythm, and soul. Architecture that became identity. Mansa Musa's constructions changed West Africa forever. Sahelian architecture, with its wooden support beams called taurin, became a trademark of the region. Thick walls kept homes cool. Mosques doubled as learning centers. Courtyards hosted debates, music, and poetry. This wasn't primitive. It was intentional, sustainable, and beautiful. But nothing in Musa's life is more dramatic, or more misunderstood, than his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. The procession stretched beyond the horizon. Soldiers marched in formation. Servants wore embroidered fabrics. Camels carried gold bars wrapped in leather. Some say Musa brought so much gold that people ask him if he intended to buy Cairo itself. Cairo, where everything changed. When Musa arrived, the Sultan of Egypt expected a normal diplomatic visit. What he got was economic chaos. According to historian Al-Makrizi, Mansa Musa's spending caused a sudden drop in gold's value. Inflation, market shock, a decade-long price crash. The Empire of Mali became so famous after this event that European mapmakers began drawing Musa as a crowned king holding a golden orb, even though they'd never seen him. The mystery of the pilgrimage's purpose. Historians debate three theories. Theory A, the religious duty. Musa was a devout Muslim. The Hajj was a requirement, but he performed it with unmatched grandeur. Theory B, a political power move. Some believe Musa planned the gold giveaway to project power, to say, West Africa is not a corner of the world, it is a center. This theory explains a lot. Musa returned with architects, astronomers, jurists, and teachers. He may have been recruiting talent to elevate Mali's cultural and intellectual status. The truth? Probably a mix of all three. Empires don't fall in a single night. They unravel, thread by thread. Internal power struggles. After Musa's death in 1337, the empire didn't collapse. It fractured. His successor, Maghan, was young and inexperienced. Generals fought governors. Provinces acted independently. The unity that Musa forged began to dissolve. Shift of global trade. For centuries, caravans crossing the Sahara were the lifeline of West Africa's economy. But when European ships reached the West African coast, gold and goods suddenly had a new route. Why cross a desert for 3 months when a ship could deliver gold to Portugal in 3 weeks? Trade moved westward. The empire's income shrank, and coastal kingdoms began to rise. Invasions and new powers. The Mossi attacked from the south. The Tuaregs seized Timbuktu, and the Songhai Empire, once a province of Mali, grew stronger and eventually overshadowed its parent empire. By the late 1500s, Mali wasn't gone, but it was a shadow of its former self. Today, the Mali Empire is more than memory. It is a symbol of African innovation, cultural brilliance, economic power, intellectual legacy, and global influence. The manuscripts of Timbuktu remain one of Africa's greatest treasures. They survived wars, fires, colonialism, and extremism, because families hid them in chests for generations. The mosques built in Musa's era still stand. Some are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. They're living evidence of Mali's genius. Malian music, from kora players to griots, traces its storytelling roots directly to the empire. The modern currencies CFA franc and West African economic systems still echo gold-based networks of medieval Mali. Mansa Musa is on posters, documentaries, schoolbooks, and art, not because he was rich, but because his rule shows what Africa achieved, long before colonial narratives tried to rewrite the past. So next time someone tells you the Mali Empire was just about gold, tell them this. It was a civilization of architects, traders, scholars, poets, warriors, storytellers, and one king whose journey changed what the world thought Africa could be. Thanks for watching, Dude Historian Fan. Drop a like if you learned something new. Subscribe for more forgotten world stories. And let's keep exploring the past, one unbelievable history at a time.